Joan here. I hope that you are having an amazing week so far. I am getting over a little bit of, that whole thing that's going around. So you'll have to pardon me for the shortness of breath and needing to take water. But we're not about perfection over here. So we're going to roll with it. So I am here with your weekly reading, and what I have here for you is we're kind of throwing it back old school, naturally always channeled, intuitive tarot is what I always do. And I've pulled 3 cards here for this week in particular. Now, this week we already know is a very powerful week due to the first full moon in Leo. But also being the sort of day of miracles with Jupiter I believe it's Jupiter kind of touching noses with the sun, but I haven't looked deep enough. I usually do intuitive astrology, so I kind of let them channel to me what makes it a day of miracles. But my guidance that's been coming through, not mine, their guidance that's been coming through me has been about really beginning to utilize the ability to let go of anything, especially any of those Leonic ways of behaving that are more on the shadow end of the coin than they are the light side, so that we can begin to make space for nurturing, for the creativity, for that leadership quality, so that anything that arises for us that we've been working towards, that we've been aspiring towards, really has its best opportunity of just skyrocketing and quite literally creating miracles. And I can see the beginning of the week is being very important to that aim. So here we have the Hermit card, a very beautiful card from the Soul Cards. And the Hermit is all about the illumination that we find when we go within. There is a lot of times, and I'm even kind of restructuring how I want to say this as they come through. There's a preoccupation societally for kind of conditioning us to think that, well, if we're not sure, check in with the mind. If we're not sure, ask a friend. If we're not sure, research it. Like all these external expressions of how we can find clarity. And it's not that those ways are invalid. It's not that those ways can't be exceptionally helpful. But if we don't go within first, if we don't know what our true compass is, what our true north is, then the external can do more to actually pull us out of alignment than it can help be a bridge that takes us into deeper alignment and deeper clarity. So the Hermit is all about taking some quiet time at the beginning of this week and going within and listening to what your heart is saying. Drop out of the mind into the heart, into the body. And the reason why I always say this, and many people will say this, the mind can tell a liver how to be a liver. It can tell a heart how to be a heart, so you don't have to. The only way it has the capacity to answer questions complex about life experiences and choices that it knows nothing about is through the programming that it's been conditioned with, whether through your past experiences, your trauma, marketing, society, et cetera, et cetera. So that may not necessarily be the place we want to turn to have answer questions about going forward and moving into new spaces and letting go of what holds us back. Certainly not the space, because it's going to be the very things that are programmed, the operating system that's been programmed up here, that's going to be giving you the ideas and suggestions and directives. They're just going to lead you to the same place. So the Hermit is all about going within. It's about tuning in to that sometimes very soft, very subtle light within the heart, within the body, that helps us to tap into what our heart, our body, and our intuition is telling us. That's the illumination at the beginning of the week that we truly, truly need. That we need in order to feel that sense of illumination in any area of life where right now we may feel is quite foggy, that we don't really know what to do. And going within can be a little bit tricky. In traditional cards, and this is definitely not a traditional Rider-Waite, but I still love the use of lantern and the illumination, etc., that it provides. Traditionally, what we will see is what appears to be a very old, decrepit individual who, with a very teeny tiny lantern and a cane, is navigating this very bumpy terrain. You can see little pits and divots, etc. And the symbolism being that that little light can only shine so far ahead. So we have to move slowly and with discernment. And we need to be careful of the pitfalls and the divots so that we don't fall into the traps of the mind and the ego. So that we are indeed actually tuning in to the heart, the intuition, and the body. And we're allowing that to be our source of illumination, the place from which we can ascertain our true north. We can figure out what is and is not for us. And this is especially important come the middle of the week where we have the Page of Cups. I'm about to say Page of Coins. Page of Cups. Now, this is all about excitement. I'm trying to get clear. I guess maybe if I stop moving it might be clear, huh? It's all about excitement. It's about creativity. It's about messages, new opportunities, new doors that are opening that elicit a very strong emotional response within us, usually positive. Usually it's an opportunity where we're like, this is great news. This is awesome. Our intuition could have brought it. It could be a tangible message. It could be an aha moment. It could have come from a dream. You could have had it come, the soul drop in meditation. But the idea is that it is this creative, formless, raw energy that we are so inspired to turn into a tangible reality, a tangible form of existence. And even though it's at the beginning, being the page, which page, knights, queen, king, it's all an evolution basically from, kid, teen, and older as we go up. So there's not a lot of experience with the page. And there can be some impulsivity. We could get so far ahead of ourselves with this excitement that we don't pause with that hermit energy and say, is this for us? Is this in alignment with where I want to go, who I want to be, what I want to manifest, etc.? And that is a very essential component, because just because it's a good idea, a good opportunity, doesn't mean that it's necessarily one that you want to hop on board with right away. But most importantly, it's not one that you want to precipitously say yes to before you've really thought it out. Again, utilizing that inner illumination from the hermit, allowing maybe yourself to ask one or two people what they think. Not too many, because 10 people, 10 different perspectives. You're just muddying the waters. And seeing how what they say sits within you. Again, dropping out of mind and into body and heart. Does what they say resonate? Does it fit and align with your inner truth? Or does it not? If it doesn't, don't feel obligated to adopt it as truth. If it does, maybe it adds some strength or reinforcement to your inner truth. A little bit more wisdom, a little bit more of a plan. so that this raw, strong, pure potentiality can actually become a tangible creation in your reality. And that leads us to the Four of Pentacles at the end of the week. Now, the Four of Pentacles, all fours in a way indicate the need to kind of boundary ourselves. You know, they represent stability, they represent boundaries, they represent security, you know, those kind of very earthly components that comprise our foundation and help us to feel safe. In the realm of Pentacles, this is really saying, hey, if you decide to launch on this Page of Cups idea, then it may require a plan, some structure, some sort of, you know, container through which you know how to actually direct that energy. But being that it is Pentacles, there's two things that are coming up as I look at this card. And the first is slow the hell down. Because the Page of Cups, you know, eventually is going to evolve into the Knight. And all knights, except for maybe the Page of Pentacles, you know, they kind of move with a little bit of a quick pace, which can be good or it can be bad if it underutilizes the energy and opportunity available, because what you're doing isn't really in alignment with where you want to go. That's wasting the energy and the opportunity. So the Four of Pentacles, what's coming through to me is saying, hey, slow down. You know, create the container. How are you going to utilize and harness this raw, pure potentiality? What do you need to do? You know, so that it's that plan making, it's that slowing down, that tempering of that energy. Doesn't mean we have to be any less excited about it, but we do want to protect ourselves, because if it is, and this week it could very well be, as monumentous of an opportunity, idea, dream, etc., as the Page of Cups is hinting at, then we're going to want to protect that beautiful energy. We're going to want to keep it close to the chest. Excuse me. We're not going to want to necessarily, you know, get a bullhorn and announce to everybody and their brother what it is we're doing. Especially if we ourselves aren't quite sure how we're going to do it yet. So slowing down and creating that container, creating that plan, protecting ourselves and the energy available to us and this vision. But also the Four of Pentacles is saying that this may be a time to call your energy and your resources back to you. Okay. Earlier this year, I hired a publicist, somebody to help me with kind of, you know, getting my medicine, my voice out there. It's a big, big commitment. And in order to make that commitment, I had to call resources back from certain areas that were either not working, not worth it, or just were not as high of a priority as hiring my publicist was. So whatever the Page of Cups represents for you at the middle of the week, the Four of Pentacles is saying, not only do we want to slow down, maintain the excitement, the motivation, let that percolate all throughout you, but at the same time, don't get so wrapped up in thinking that, well, I can't do it because I don't have the resources. You do. You just have to decide what is priority and what is not. You have to become more discerning where your resources, be them time, energy, emotion, your mental capacity and bandwidth, your money, where they go. And if they're going to things that are either not working, not worth it, or are not as high of a priority of this opportunity, creativity, intuitive ping, if you will, of the Page of Cups, then bye-bye. You call your energy back. You say, I'm sorry, you know, I've got to just I've got to bow out, I got to recoup. It's time for me to, come back into a space of sovereignty because I have something that is so important to me that I want to make happen, that I want all of my resources, all of my bandwidth to be right back in here, right back into heart, right back into my energy field so that I can utilize those resources for the container, the plan, the structure that I am putting together to take the raw, pure potentiality of the Page of Cups and make it a reality. So there's a lot of really beautiful, positive energy that is ahead of us this week. But it starts off a little slow. It's actually asking us maybe Monday and Tuesday, pull it back a little bit, go within. Don't think that you need to be so far out there. The actual illumination about what it is that you're going to do, pardon me, in any area of life, but especially with this Page of Cups energy that maybe you already have an idea of because you've been working towards it. Maybe you don't. Maybe it comes totally out of the blue. But getting aligned ahead of this full moon, this day of miracles on the 28th, on Thursday, and going within and allowing that inner illumination to direct us forward is very important. Because even if it is not yet in awareness of the Page of Cups, with this full moon energy, what we release and create space for as we, in the next 2 weeks, move towards the new moon, that's going to be something we're going to want a little illumination on. And that illumination, no doubt, will coincide at the middle of the week with the Page of Cups energy. That opportunity that arrives to you, that raw, pure potentiality that lights you the fuck up, that makes you so excited that you're ready to get set in motion right away. And the Four of Pentacles is saying, great, that's wonderful. But if this idea is as exciting and means as much to you as you say it does, then protect it. Hold it close to your chest. You don't need to broadcast it. But also you need a little bit of a plan. How are you gonna actually harness this energy? How are you gonna actually turn it into a reality and make it so? And the way that we do that is we slow down. We slow down, we call our resources back to us in every form. Again, if it's not working, if it's not worth it, if it's not as high of a priority, comes right back to us. And yeah, we may have to say to some people, listen, I know that I thought this would work, but something has just come up that I have to divert this bandwidth, my money, my energy, whatever it may be. I have to divert all of what I may have been sending your way. I have to reclaim it and I have to redirect it towards this thing. How they respond and act ultimately is not your responsibility, and it should not deter you from the excitement and the knowing that you have that what the Page of Pentacles represents is in fact for you, and you do and can make it a reality. Okay, this is where we get into a little bit about how we don't allow the external circumstances or responses or reactions to impact the internal state of well-being. We can care, we don't carry, is what I always say. Pardon me. But make no mistake that there's a lot of doors opening for many people. There's a lot of really, really major transitions and opportunities that are coming in. And not only do we want the Hermit's illumination within to help us know where we can begin to create space, where we can begin to let go of what just is not working for us, but we also want to harness that Four of Pentacles energy of creating a container, of creating a space so that when that miraculous, beautiful, enormous opportunity drops onto our path, We are possessed with the ability, or have possession rather, with the ability to make it a reality, to make it happen. And we have the resources and the bandwidth to do so. And that also means, this is just coming in, that even if we have things that are ending this week, as most full moons will often bring completion in areas, whether they are favorable or, non-favorable, we have to begin, and we're encouraged to broaden our perspective, I'm being told, on how we perceive those things. It may be something that normally would trigger you and go, oh no, what am I going to do? And instead, we're being encouraged to go, oh, maybe this is making some of that space that I need to accomplish whatever the Page of Cups represents. So that bandwidth, that energy, all of that I was putting towards that thing that's now leaving, yeah, it may hurt. I'm allowed to feel sad and experience those emotions and let them flow and release them. But then I can also begin to see the broader picture. I can take the perspective of Mother Eagle, for example, who chooses really, really high places within which to create their homes. And the idea on a personal level is that this gives us a better vantage point to see the bigger picture. Down here on Earth, it can be hard to do that. We can lament what may seem like it's leaving and get really scared and nervous and go, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or I don't want that to go away. When in reality, it could be the very thing or things that are part of what need to be released in order to create space and to, excuse me, give you back some of that bandwidth on all level of resources that you need to make this happen for you. So I am really, really excited for the week ahead. I hope that you are too. I definitely want to hear how this energy is impacting you, how you feel about it, what's coming up for you. So feel free to comment below. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I always love hearing your take even on what it is that's presenting itself, because I'm not the only person who can interpret these cards, and what may come up when you see one from, for you may be totally different than what I'm picking up on. So we can make this an even richer experience through the process of sharing. So I thank you so much for listening in and watching if you're catching this over on YouTube. And here's to a beautiful week, intuitive lifestylers. Let's make it happen. Mwah.